Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. Thank you all the members of the Patreons. Make sure to subscribe and let's get into it. We are flying on the J8F today in the dev server with the FOX-3 missiles to discuss a little bit what I think is the main thing that we need before these missiles are added. As you know, or maybe if you don't, these missiles are confirmed to be added in the next patch, not this one. This is just a test, of course. And the game is getting ready for these missiles because they will change the way that the dynamic works in top tier aircraft, you know. There will be always people, first of all, let's just get that out of the way. There will always be people that don't like this type of gameplay, okay? And that's alright, guys. For both sides, you know, people that love it, it's okay because it is interesting. You know, a lot of people love these gameplays. And a lot of people want these missiles to be added for a very long time. People have been asking for these missiles for quite a bit of time. And it is okay to not like it as well, because it is a different type of gameplay. You have less of an idea of what's going on sometimes, and you might get killed out of nowhere for no reason, or at least you will think that it's not like for no reason, right? So don't worry, there is motives for you to love this or hate this, and it's alright. It really, really is. That's why I love War Thunder so much. It has such a large variety of vehicles that you can just go back and play with the older vehicles and be okay with it, you know. So yeah, and I really, really do think that finally there will be a different type of gameplay in War Thunder. The way that it worked before, it was just, of course, people that like to play with BVR missiles and use them, but it's a very, very like little minority. Would fly high and try to get people from you know, high distances, like I do normally with the Su-27s and MiG-29s, right? But the majority of the players would just fly low, right? Which is okay, you can still fly low, but the thing is that the BVR missiles, they are a lot better, I think, to actually get people from medium distances without you having to commit too much, you know. So you can just fire the missile and turn away, so you can focus on your defensive flying, making BVR a lot more enjoyable and actually having a little bit of a different type of gameplay in the upper tiers, you know, of these ranks, you know. So yeah, I think it will bring a lot to the table, and it is actually bringing us to the 21st century, right? Because all the fighters in these days, they use these missiles. So it's either having these missiles at one point or not having modern aircraft, really, really modern aircraft. Never, right? So it's complicated. We would need to have these missiles added no matter what. But the thing is that the gameplay is kind of weird. So I was playing the first 2 days, and I don't know about you guys, but I wasn't enjoying too much because it was too hectic. You know, I think that's the word for it. It was too crazy. It is too many aircraft flying around and firing missiles in places that are just, you know, you cannot have a situational awareness to actually notice every single enemy that exists flying around near you. It's way too much stuff. Our brains don't comprehend how many things are happening, right, at these massive weird furballs and spamming of these missiles. So what I really, really think is the best thing that they need to do, and to be honest, they needed to do this before even the FOX-3's, but I think with the FOX-3's it kind of brings that problem to a light, and that's just that there is too many people in a match. A lot of people always asked for larger maps. I was one of them included, right? And when they added these bigger maps, they also, like, almost instantaneously, like in the same patch, or it was really, really, like, it was January last year, so it was just after the MiG-29s and F-16s were added, and like 2 weeks after the patch were like was released or something like that. It wasn't a long time after. They actually just introduced the bigger, large amounts of players in the matches, which at that time I even defended, and it was a, it was a good idea at the time. But right now it's getting too crazy. People are spawning in from just one location, and the maps designs, they are not favorable. You know, they really just put you in the middle of the map and you have to fight it. So there's not a lot of flanking. There's not a lot of different missions for you to do. There's not a lot of reason why would you like not fly straight to the enemy and try to kill them. And it's okay because sometimes war is like that, but I think the major point is that it created too big of a unknown in situational awareness, because there's so many things happening at the same time that a lot of new players especially start to not like this, and it kind of becomes not fun when you don't understand why you got killed. I don't want, and I have 100% sure, like I'm sure of this, that 100% of the people that play the game, they don't want to just go to the replay to understand how you died, you know, even though there are modes now that you can actually analyze stuff, and it really does help if you want to spend time with that. But at the end of the day, it's kind of a almost RNG kind of situation, because there's always going to be an aircraft that it's on your 6, and you're not going to be able to pay attention on all of them. Look at this. These three options, three examples of matches that I got were smaller quantities of people playing in a match. And see how even with that there was always a lot of aircraft flying around. So it's not like if they decrease the number of players, it is going to be just a boring gameplay that nobody like sees anybody or anything like that. It is just a little bit less hectic, and strategies can be used, and you have time to think what you are doing and trying to see what is the best strategy for aircraft. So I think the idea that they need to have here is that yes, I think FOX-3's missiles are amazing. They're really fun to play in my opinion, but we need a little bit of a thing, which is less players per match. Maybe a balancing would be needed if they want to, for example, maintain the amount of RP that you get in a match, because there will be less players to kill, so there will be less points on the table for you to get. So maybe increasing it would be a little bit better. But I mean, we just need less players. I'm not even talking about 5 versus 5. I'm talking about like 10 versus 10, and not 16 versus 16 or whatever it is in the normal games that we get, right? It's way too much, way too hectic, and with aircraft that will be able to fire 6, and in the future 10, 8 at least, fire and forget BVR missiles that have a 40G turn and a lot of range. At the same time, you know, firing all of those missiles, like they said in the dev server, in the dev blog, we will have more than, I mean, right now we will have more than 100 missiles flying around at the start of the match, because everybody will start to do that, you know, and it's way too much. It's not fun, and to be honest, I mean, it's too much even for the RWR to actually look at the radar, etc., right? So I think for BVR with FOX-3's to work and be fun, they need to decrease the amount of players that we have in a match. The map sizes, I think it's alright. The ranges of these missiles, they are the same as we already had. Of course, Phoenixes, even the R27 and some of the FOX-3's, they can have a little bit of a higher range in general, but at the end of the day it's not really needed, and I think the map sizes are pretty alright. I think the big problem, and I noticed that a lot of people see this, is the amount of players. So as I was saying, these matches that I had, they were with less people, so they were a lot more fun. You had time to focus on 1 or 2 targets that you were attacking, and having the situational awareness to actually check if there was any other targets, and not like having 5 aircraft in your front and 2 more that are attacking you from above that you would never see, right? So it's just not fun. So hopefully they add that, and I think it's more about testing the gameplay itself than the missiles, the technical part of the missiles. because the missiles are working fine. I think they are going to be tweaked, of course, but the missiles are fine. I think the range of them, they're not the greatest missiles ever in long range. I still think that the R-27 can take targets from larger ranges more easily sometimes. I don't know if it's just people like being really, really afraid of these missiles right now in these events, but I just feel like I have to check the numbers, but I always felt that the R-27s have more energy. I think the delta V of the R-27's ERs are better, right, than any of these missiles, so, or at least similar to the ones that we have. So it's not like these missiles are completely OP. They're just in the same range. The major thing is that you can just ignore the missile and the lock after a little bit, right, or the soft lock in the TWS. So with that, you can fire multiple missiles at once, and the large amount of players in the match makes it kind of too much from a situation that was already kind of too much. So yeah, this is my opinion on it. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you agree with me or not? Let me know. See you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe and